AITA for telling my friend she wouldn't know what it's like to be yelled at work because she hasn't had a real boss in 10 years. This story comes to us from user half in, half out, and it was originally posted to the subreddit 2 Hot Takes. I, late 20s female, have been struggling at my job lately. My boss has been yelling at me, specifically when I ask questions. These are questions I have to ask because someone recently quit and I inherited all her responsibilities, many of which I have never done or even seen before. I went to HR and was basically told that's just her personality, so I've been sticking it out to avoid looking like a job hopper on my resume. While venting to my friend, we'll call her Haley, she told me that yelling is common practice in the workplace these days. That rubbed me the wrong way, especially since I feel like I'm doing my best under difficult circumstances. I pushed back and said I don't think yelling is common or acceptable, and added that she wouldn't really know because she hasn't worked under a boss in over 10 years. To clarify, Haley is a stay-at-home mom, which I respect, and is also on her father's payroll for tax reasons, but hasn't had a traditional boss or worked in a conventional office setting since college. She got quiet and has been distant since. I didn't mean to be rude. I just felt invalidated and frustrated. AITA for snapping back like that? One commenter wrote, "No, yelling is not common practice in the workplace these days." That said, you could have pushed back without highlighting her stay-at-home mom status. That was a bit petty and vindictive. On the other hand, I'd probably have said, did you come to this conclusion because your husband comes home and yells at you about the house being a mess and about dinner not being ready? Because then I could see how you might think that. The OOP responded, "Oh, I'm not even upset about her stay-at-home mom status. Her daughter is 6 months old and she hasn't had a job since college 10 years ago. She's been on her father's payroll since. She's been a housewife for 5 years, still a full-time job. I guess I was just looking for an ear and to hear someone who hasn't been in the workforce with a traditional boss in a decade say, it's common practice, just floored me." Another commenter wrote, "NTA, yelling isn't okay, and your boss sounds wildly unfit to manage anyone. I mean, I'm not sure what your delivery was like, but you're right that Haley doesn't have a clue what she's talking about, and I'd feel the same if I were in your situation. Also, what does on her father's payroll for tax reasons mean? He pays her for not actually working? He's trying to avoid paying some sort of business tax?" The OOP responded, "I didn't yell or raise my voice. It was a concerned, stern tone. As for the tax thing, her father owns a business. She works there. That's all I can say without it being too identifiable." The commenter responded, "Is it possible Haley wasn't trying to invalidate your experience? While I agree that calling it common practice sounds dismissive, you should toughen up because this is how things are. I could alternatively read it as a more commiserative comment. It sucks that this is how things are." The OOP responded, "She said it nonchalant, like accept it and move on. She even said, you're not going to find a boss that's not going to yell these days." I think we all have problems at our workplaces that we just want to vent about. And when we have a close friend, we expect them to be supportive. In this one, the OP was just being dismissed by HR, and then to be dismissed by their close friend at home is just like a double whammy. It's even worse when your friend can't really identify the struggles that you're going through because they don't really walk in your own shoes. Workplace yelling is not a common practice. It's just something people tolerate when companies are broken or even toxic. Haley might not have meant to harm you, but she wasn't in a position to minimize your experience either. In this situation, Haley's job was just to listen and be supportive, not turn it around on the OP and make it seem like it's their fault and that they just need to understand that this is how the world works. But what do you think? Should the OP apologize, or was she justified in pushing back? Drop your take in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one.